In this video, I summarize some of the basic instructions for sending and receiving phone calls using the Google Nest Hub Max smart speaker. Since the smart speaker can be controlled entirely by the voice, it's a very handy feature to be able to send and receive phone calls, especially for people who don't like using a smartphone or maybe can't use a smartphone due to various reasons such as maybe poor vision. For this demonstration, I am using the Google Nest Hub Max, which came out approximately in 2019, but the instructions in this video should work for other Google Home products as well. The first thing you should know is that the smart speaker is basically an extension of the Google Meet app. So you should make sure that you have Google Meet installed on your phone. It is available for both Android and iPhones. The Google Meet app is a very simple app to use. It is basically like FaceTime on the iPhone. And once you open it up, you just see a list of people that you have already added to your contacts on Google Meet. And if you have a contact that's not there, you can easily add one by pressing the New button. In order to add a contact, you first should make sure that that person or that contact is already in your database on your phone. So the person you want to call should already be one of your contacts on your phone, and then you can add them to Google Meet. So you first have to add them to the phone, and then you add them to Google Meet. So that's a very important first step. Next, I will demonstrate how to place a call from this phone to this other phone just using Google Meet. So this phone is linked to my personal account, so it's named Richard. So I'm going to click here on Richard and click on Place Call. And once you do that, you can see it immediately starts ringing. I'm going to hang up so it doesn't get annoying. As you can see, the call was just placed from this phone to this other phone using Google Meet. So that is the first step. If you have that working, that is the first step to getting it working on the smart speaker. I should also mention that the reverse is also possible. So if I open up Google Meet on this phone, I can dial this first phone. So everybody who wants to call each other needs to have Google Meet, and then it's very easy to call each other. Now, the next important thing you need to know is that everything that is configured with the smart speaker is controlled through another app called Google Home. So you have to make sure that you have Google Home installed on your phone. Now, the first time you install and open Google Home, it's going to ask you several questions. For example, to name the name of your home. It'll also ask you for your location and several other questions. I have already done that, so I'm going to go ahead and open it. And as you can see, here's the home where this phone belongs to. And down at the bottom is a set of choices. Now, before we go over more configuration with Google Home, you should first make sure that your smart speaker has already been set up and connected to your home's Wi-Fi network. To do that, you can just follow the basic instructions on the smart speaker screen when you first get it and start turning it on. But now if we go back to the Google Home app, down at the bottom, the main button that we care about is this button called Devices. So I'm going to click on that. And the first time you do that, it's going to be blank. There's going to be no device. It's going to show all the devices that are at your home. And in this case, I already have one set up, which happens to be this smart speaker. But you can have many. You might have one in each bedroom, or you may have one in the kitchen, etc. But the point is that each of the smart speakers is going to show up as a different device. Now, if your device isn't already added, there's a convenient add button down at the bottom right where you can click and then add your device. Now, to be able to make phone calls with that smart speaker device, down at the bottom you have to go to the settings menu. So you click on settings and then you scroll down and you see there's one item here that says communication call settings. So I click on that, and then in that menu you're going to see here an item that says household contacts. So you click on that and it's going to show you the list of all the people that are in the phone book of the smart speaker. Basically, these are all the people that are in the phone book of all of the devices that are controlled with your Google Home app. These are all the people that are part of that home network. Now, something that is very confusing is that this list of people is not the same as your contacts on your phone or the same as their Google Meet contacts. So you have to add them. So as you see here, there's a button called Add Person. Once you start, you're going to have a blank list and you have to add each person one at a time to this list. And you have to make sure that that person is already part of your Google Meet list. So I know that may sound very annoying, but to summarize, basically the process is first you have to add a person to the contacts on your phone, and then you have to add that contact to your Google Meet contacts, and then you need to add that Google Meet contact to this list. So your smart speaker will be able to call that person. And even though that sounds a bit annoying, one thing that's nice about this is that on the Google Home app, you can give each person a nickname. So for example, you'll have the full contact name in your phone book, but for the smart speaker, you can give that person a nickname like Big John or Sweet Pea or whatever you want. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to mention one other important thing. I'm going to go back to the home screen for my Google Home app. What I want to say here is that if you click on devices and then you click on one of the smart speakers you have, for example this one, you will notice that each device has its own settings menu. Some versions of the Google Home app also have phone calls listed under this menu, which is very confusing. For example, I'm showing you here on another phone a slightly older version of the Google Home app, and you'll see if I open up that, then when I click on settings, you'll see that there is one menu item called voice and video calls. So that is a second menu that's called voice and video calls. If you click on that, you'll see that it has nothing to do with setting up your contacts. It has to do more with the individual settings of this specific device, this specific speaker. So to summarize, to set up your contacts to be able to send and receive phone calls, you should use the general settings button. Do not use a settings button for the individual devices. And now that we've set up the new contact on this phone, we can go back to the home page, and to demonstrate a call, I could use my personal phone again, the same as I did with Google Meet, but this time, instead of using the phone, I will call this phone using my smart speaker. Here goes. Okay, Google, call Richard.
All right, calling Richard on Google Meet.
And you can see that this phone is ringing, and I could answer and we'd have a two-way video call. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do end call. And that's basically the demonstration. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to answer a call on a smart speaker. Now for this, you have to remember that this phone and this smart speaker are part of the same network. They both belong to the same person. This other phone here is my personal phone that I'm just using for demonstration. So to make a call, so I'm going to call from my phone to these two devices. So I'm calling from here to this other person. So to do that, remember, I have to open up the Google Meet app, and I just click on the person that I'm calling, and I hit call. And when we do that, notice that it rings in both places.
Call from Richard.
And to accept, I can say, "Okay, Google, answer call." And now we're connected. And then I could say, "Okay, Google, hang up." And it just finished the call. I think you'll see if you follow all these steps that it's actually pretty easy to set up and use the Google Nest Hub Max to send and receive phone calls. Thanks for watching.